Wow, I look pale. Very pale. Starting to get that winter washout. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. For those returning, thank you. Glad to see you again. For those who are new, welcome. Hope you enjoy and hope you stay for the long run. Oh no, my battery's about to die. So this is just going to be a really quick intro since my battery is about to die. So I would say that I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with filming on camera. I'm a pretty awkward person in real life, so talking to a camera is weird because it's even, for some reason, it's even more awkward than talking to a person. And I don't know what that's about, but I'm getting a bit more comfortable, so yay that. I also noticed that in my previous videos, I talk way too fast. So I am going to try my best to like slow that down and actually enunciate my words going forward. I just want to say, thank you guys for joining me again. This week I lost 2 pounds. I knew it was going to slow down from last week. I knew I wasn't going to lose 7 pounds every single week. So this 2 pound loss is a lot more on track than from what I was expecting, because I'm still eating a lot of calories. I'm just eating it in a small window time. So I'm still making sure that I'm eating enough where I'm losing weight at a relatively healthy place. And healthy weight loss, I think, is between 0.5 pounds and 2 pounds a week. So that's good. I did want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a doctor. So all these things I'm doing is just something I'm doing for myself. These are all my opinions. I don't want anyone out here being like, oh, she's giving doctoral advice. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just essentially journeying what I'm doing and showing how it works out for me. So, I mean, if you want to try this diet, that's fine. If you're a little bit nervous about trying something like this, like you're like eating 1 meal a day, that's weird, then, talk to your doctor, see if they're like into that idea. I know intermittent fasting has been studied for a long time. This is just a really extreme version of intermittent fasting, but it works for me. I'm saving money, I'm cooking less time in the kitchen, more time to do other things, and I'm still eating a lot. I mean, I'm not hungry until like dinner time, so I'm still eating a lot. It's just, I'm only eating it at one time. That's really about it. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all that, jazz. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks. So starting off with my first meal, I had some roasted chicken thighs with Brussels sprouts and red beans and rice. Here I'm just seasoning the chicken. I started off with a little olive oil, and I use the same seasonings that I use in basically every recipe that I have. So garlic powder, onion powder, some oregano, some basil, a little bit of Italian seasoning, black pepper, lemon pepper, smoked paprika, and adobo, which is basically just like an all-purpose seasoning. And I just popped these chicken thighs into the oven at 425 for about 45 minutes. And no, I'm not throwing these Brussels sprouts on the floor. There is a trash can directly next to me. So I had the crispy Brussels sprouts at Longhorn's one time, and they were absolutely delicious, and I wanted to try to recreate that. So I'm seasoning the Brussels sprouts really simply. I'm just putting a little bit of olive oil and then some salt and pepper on it, and that's it for now. So the Brussels sprouts from Longhorns were fried, but I really did not feel like dealing with oil. So I tried to just recreate that fried crispiness with my air fryer. So here I am just dumping in half the Brussels sprouts so that they are evenly spread out. And then I'm going to put that in the air fryer for about 13-14 minutes just to crisp it up. I did look up a recipe for the sauce that was on the Longhorn Brussels sprouts, and honestly, it wasn't that great. I mean, I'll link it in the description if people want to try it, but I didn't think it was that good. I thought it was a little too sweet. The Brussels sprouts that I had at Longhorn were a little sweet and spicy, but this was just a little too sweet. So if I do recreate this recipe, I probably would put less honey and maybe more spiciness, like chili flakes or something. And here's all the cooked food. We did also make cornbread muffins. I didn't film that because it was just boxed cornbread that we used. We just made it and added it to the side. So next up is one of my favorite things. It is a grilled cheese sandwich with macaroni and cheese on it and short rib added on it with a little bit of barbecue sauce. It's probably it's definitely not the most healthiest thing, but it is absolutely delicious. I got this from a restaurant that we went to one time called I Heart Mac and Cheese, and it was a sandwich called the best of both worlds. And really most of my recipes are just things that I've tried in restaurants, and then I tried to recreate it at home if I loved it a lot. So here I'm just seasoning up the short rib. I'm using my same seasonings I always use: salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. I put a couple dry herbs in there, so there's oregano, basil, and parsley. And then for a broth, I put some vegetable broth, a couple cloves of garlic, some bay leaves, and then some Worcestershire sauce, and I just mixed that all together. Oh, and I put a ton of red pepper flakes because I wanted a little bit of a spice to it, and also some adobo because, once again, I use adobo in everything. I didn't really have time to slow cook these short ribs, so I just put them in the pressure cooker. I will say I did remake this again the next day, and I definitely left it in longer in the pressure cooker the second time because I only put it on for 40 minutes here and it wasn't tender enough. So the next day I did put it on for about an hour and 10 minutes and it came out a lot more tender.
I'm just putting a little bit of butter here on the bread. It didn't really need it, but butter is delicious, so why not? I didn't really feel like making homemade mac and cheese, so I just used this box mix, and I mean, homemade mac and cheese would always be better, but for what it wasn't bad. It was still tasty. Assembling these was such a messy process. I mean, it was all over the place. The next day I did mix together the mac and cheese and the short rib, and that made it a little bit less of a messy process because it didn't just fall all over the place like it's doing now. You see that doodle just keeps falling, and there's cheese sauce all over the pan, and it's ridiculous. So yeah, just a pro tip: if you do decide to ever make this, mix the mac and cheese and the short ribs together. It will save you a lot of frustration of having to constantly pick back up the mac and cheese from falling off the bread. And then I'm just adding a little bit of barbecue sauce on top of my short rib sandwich, and then more cheese on the other side. Then I just pop these in the oven at 425 for roughly about 10 minutes until the bread started getting a little toasty and the cheese started getting a little melty. So this is just a Mediterranean salad kit that I had bought from Kroger, and I'm kind of looking at it and digging through it because there's like little to no lettuce in it. I didn't understand how it could be a salad kit and not have the main component of salad. But yeah, I just rinsed that off and, you know, added it right to the plates. I definitely could have toasted these sandwiches longer, but at this point I was too hungry to care. So I just sliced it in half, got a quick cheese pull, and ended the video because I was ready to eat at that point. The last recipe is just a simple spaghetti with meat sauce and some garlic bread. So here I'm just showing the sausage that I use. Normally I get the hot sausage, but they ran out of it at the store, so I just had to settle for mild. By the way, the only reason why I'm cutting this onion directly next to this meat is because this onion is cooking with the meat. So, you know, we don't want raw vegetables next to your meat unless you're cooking with it. So yeah, this is all cooking together. We're not eating these onions raw. It's going in all into the same sauce, so it's safe to do it this way for now. After cooking the onions down for a while, I add a bunch of garlic. If you're not really like a huge fan of garlic, maybe don't add this much, but I absolutely love garlic, so I put a ton of it in everything. Instead of ground beef, I'm using turkey meat in my meat sauce, so I just dump that in after the onions and garlic cook for a bit and just chop it up until it breaks down to tinier pieces. I did add a piece of Parmesan rind to the sauce just because I wanted to give it a Parmesan-y flavor without actually adding a bunch of cheese in. So that's what you see going in here.